Standing and raise your right hand if you intend to testify in this proceeding. Do you swear or affirm that you will testify and give the truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated. May I have the translators? Okay. Do you swear or affirm that you will testify from Creole to English, English to Creole to the best of your ability?
I do.
Thank you. And here you go.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Est-ce que quelqu'un dans la salle qui a besoin d'aide avec anglais, qui peut parler anglais bien? OK, merci.
Thank you. I'll call attendance. Calling Chair Chairwoman Bayona.
Here.
Thank you. Calling Vice Chair John Quinnell.
Here.
Thank you. Calling Member Brenda Betancourt.
Present.
Thank you. Calling Member Reeves-Tasker. Calling Member Keon Williams.
Present.
Thank you. And calling Member Martin Zilber. We have quorum.
And before I read this, if you have just arrived and have not signed in, please make sure you sign in with the clerk. Good evening. I would like to welcome you to this meeting of the City of Miami Code Enforcement Board. The Code Enforcement Board is made up of 7 regular members and 2 alternate members appointed by the City Commission who volunteer their time and services. The Board is authorized by Florida law to hear and decide cases brought against those persons who have been cited for violations of various city ordinances but who have not corrected the alleged violations. Each case will be called based upon when the property owner or representative has checked in and type of matter to be heard unless there are extenuating circumstances. The respondent, whose property and or business is the alleged violator, will be asked to plead guilty or not guilty. If the respondent pleads guilty, the board will give the respondent a date certain by which to correct the violation. If the violation is not corrected by that date, the board may impose a fine for a first-time violator of up to $250 per diem for a residential property and up to $1,000 per diem for a non-residential commercial property. For a repeat violator, the board may impose a fine of up to $500 per diem for a residential property and up to $5,000 per diem for a non-residential commercial property. If the respondent pleads not guilty, the City of Miami, through the Assistant City Attorney, will present its case. After the City presents its case, the respondent will be permitted to present its defense. Both the City and the respondent will have an opportunity to present evidence and to examine and cross-examine witnesses. Any person who is not the owner of the property, managing member of the corporate owner, or a licensed Florida attorney must have a valid power of attorney pursuant to Florida law. This requires 2 witnesses to the signature of the owner as part of the notarized power of attorney. If a representative does not qualify as stated above or have a valid power of attorney, they may not represent or present any evidence on behalf of the property owner. The case will be heard in absentia and adjudicated based upon the facts presented by the City. This hearing is conducted in an informal manner. There are no formal rules of evidence. However, all discussion, presentation, and questions are limited to matters relating directly to the violations cited. After all the evidence is presented, the board will determine by majority vote whether the respondent is guilty or not guilty. If the board finds the respondent guilty, the board will order the respondent to correct the violation by a certain date. If the violation is not corrected by that date, the board may impose a fine as stated above. The respondent may also be charged the cost of prosecution and up to $5,000 or $15,000 for specified code violations as a one-time fine for violations that are considered irreparable or irreversible in nature by the board. It is the violator's responsibility to notify the city's code compliance department when the violation has been corrected. If the violation is not corrected by the required date, a fine shall be imposed without further hearing. The fine imposed will be recorded as a lien against the cited property and against other real personal property of the owner. To pay applicable fines and or liens online, visit www.miamigov.com and in the search queue type "Make a Payment." If you need to request an extension of time, you may do so online by visiting www.miamigov.com and in the search queue type in "Extension of Time." Extensions may only be requested before the time to comply has expired. Lastly, any orders entered by the board may be appealed to the 11th Judicial Circuit Court of Florida within 30 days. And before we call the first case, Melanie, can I have there's an annual report from the Code Enforcement Board. It was signed before, there was no quorum, so there needs to be a quorum to approve the annual report for the Code Enforcement Board. Essentially, the main point of this is simply that we are asking the commissioners to make appointments to make sure that we have enough members here and we don't lack quorum. So that's pretty much all that's in here. Last year we had a lot of cancellations, so I need a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
And then I know that this is a nuisance abatement, but the next nuisance abatement, I will not be here. I'll have coverage counsel here because I'm traveling. But the nuisance abatement is the same as the code enforcement, asking again for members to be appointed.
They can't vote on it today.
They can't appoint?
They can't vote it today.
Okay, so my substitute that will be here the day of nuisance, I'll have her bring this up and you guys can vote and sign it, okay?
You need a motion for that as well?
No, you can do it when Kimberly's here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
For nuisance. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Let me swear in the Spanish interpreter. Do you testify in this proceeding that you will translate to the best of your ability from Spanish to English, English to Spanish?
Yes.
Thank you.
Buenas noches. Aquellos que necesitan ayuda en español, por favor, les pido que se pongan de pie para el juramento. Por favor, ¿puede ponerse de pie, señora? Si no, quédese sentada. Levante la mano derecha. Okay. Levante la mano derecha. Todos aquellos que tengan la intención de testificar sobre este o cualquier otro asunto, por favor, pónganse de pie y levante su mano derecha. Jura o afirma solemnemente que el testimonio que está a punto de dar es la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad. Gracias.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and call our first case. To be heard, this is a code check case. This is page 37. The address is 245 Northeast 25th Street. Case number 000-69984. Address 245 Northeast 25th Street.
Sir, if you can please come to this side of the podium, thank you.
This phone doesn't work?
Yes, but if you want to stand or you want to sit?
No, I can stand.
Okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Can you please state your name and address, please?
Honorable Board. This is Dr. Octavio Pino, Professor Octavio Pino, retired professor from the University FIU, Nova, and resident and owner, sole owner now.
Can you please state your address? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Of 245 Northeast 25th Street, Miami. And I'm here with my student assistant, Antoine Chapman, who has been house sitting.
1 second.
Yes.
I just need to know if you're guilty or not guilty. That's the process. Then
Do I-
we'll allow you to speak.
I don't hear well.
If you're guilty or not guilty,
Guilty.
and then I'll allow
No,
you to
I
speak.
plead not guilty, of course.
Not guilty? Okay, we'll let the city present its case, then we'll come back to you for any comments that you may have, and we have to listen to what they have to say regarding the violation. But you will have a chance to speak. Can the city please present its case? Good afternoon, Inspector.
Inspector, please state your name and official position.
Marcelo Lazarique, Central Office.
Did you issue a citation to the property at 245 Northeast 25th Street?
Yes.
Okay, and did you provide me with your file in this case?
Yes.
And what we've marked as Exhibit A, are those the photographs of the violations as well as the notes that you had in the file?
Yes.
And what we've marked as Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser as well as the SunBiz records, if they apply?
Yes.
Okay. And Exhibit C are the official notices and summonses required by Florida law and the city code. Is that correct?
Yes.
We'd like to introduce A, B, and C into the record.
Excuse me, we can't see the photographs in our screen. I'm sorry to interrupt.
On your screen
We can
here?
no, we don't see them here.
Maybe
Okay,
now.
Now we can. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. And Inspector, did you cite the property owner for graffiti on the property?
Yes.
Okay. And did you cite the property for failure to maintain the lot in a safe, clean condition, not allowing accumulation of debris, trash, or dense growth of grass?
Yes.
And did you cite the property for being vacant, blighted, unsecured, and/or abandoned structure?
Yes.
And did you cite them for failure to maintain the exterior of a commercial or residential property?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, are there any violations that you cited the property owner with that have complied?
The graffiti was removed.
Okay, so the graffiti has complied, and you cited the property owner in November of 2023, November 15th?
Correct.
Okay, and since November 15th to today, has there been any contact by the property owner or anybody representing the property?
No.
Okay, and did you, other than the graffiti, did you recently drive by or check on the property? Have you checked on the property throughout?
I went today.
Okay, and what happened?
And that's when I saw the graffiti had been removed. The trash was still there. They apparently put up a fence now to block where that you see on screen. I haven't seen that yet. He said he cleaned it up today, but I was there at around like
Can I object?
1,
Can I object? Or is that
and it hadn't been done yet.
Okay, and now, have police been called out to the property?
So I went out there with police and my supervisor, and I was told by police that the owner of the property was in Asia. They didn't specify where, and he would call because there would be homeless people around the property because he has cameras all throughout the property. And he
Okay.
was calling police to come out there.
Okay, but not you?
No, never.
Okay. And did anybody who represented the property owner contact you?
Never.
Okay, we'd like to introduce the testimony. We're requesting a guilty finding, 5 days to come into compliance. And this is a homestead property, so we're requesting $150 a day thereafter until compliance is achieved.
Well, I believe Dr. Pino would like to say
Yes, I would
something.
like to speak at this time.
Yes.
I would like to say that since I got back from Indonesia, I was 4 months in Indonesia because I had suffered a heart attack here in Miami because of some pressure around the property. I will deal with that at the moment. And when I got back from Indonesia, I realized that there were some homeless people camping in between my house and the apartment building next door. And of course, they are so good at hiding themselves, you know, behind the house between the two. They even broke a pipe, and I had to go and get the fixed with the insurance because there was a leak in the house that was the payment of $5,000 a month of water, you know, which I couldn't afford, but I did anyhow pay it. And then I realized that these were the people who were throwing the garbage all over the place. And Antoine, who is the house sitter and my student assistant, couldn't really pick up all that garbage. I mean, they were camping out there. He called on many occasions to the police to remove those people from there, and they removed. And he can tell you, they didn't show up, or when they showed up, no, we can't remove them because they are. You don't have a sign that says no trespassing. Or I do have a sign that says private property. It's a technicality, but you know. In any event, I'd like Antoine to tell you how many times he called the police and the problem with the garbage, too.
I know, but I would like to ask you a question. Why hasn't, even though you were in Indonesia and you had somebody assisting you, why hasn't the property still hasn't been cleaned as of today? I mean,
Well, the property is now clean. I'm sorry to say that this gentleman was there this morning before we did the work on the
yeah, but you've had since November, even though you've been in Indonesia, you're still responsible.
I realize that.
Right.
So I'm really asking the board to be lenient and allow me a little bit more time because I am 78 years
Perfect.
old. You know, and not only 78, I went through a heart attack.
How much time do you
I
need?
went through another heart attack.
I
in
understand,
Indonesia,
and I'm
you
sure
know,
the board will
and
take
I
that
was
under consideration.
Under a no-fly zone.
How
I could
much
not come
time
back.
do you need? The city's
Well,
recommending 5 days. Well, how
No, 5
much
days
time
is
do
not
you
enough.
need?
Obviously, 5 days is not enough.
I understand.
How much
That's why
time?
I'm asking you, how much time do you
Well,
need?
I would think at least 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
that's a
okay,
lot
then
of
you
time.
tell me what you can give me. It doesn't matter.
3 months is a lot
we
of
will
time.
comply. We will comply. This is what I tell you. I mean, I am here now, and I'm a little bit stronger.
No, we
so
understand.
we will comply.
We want to work with you and we want to help you, but you have
Yes,
to
I
also
know.
understand
Okay, good.
that
So, yeah, I would like to.
we need to have your property
Right,
clean
okay,
because
yeah,
those that
of course,
live
I
around
agree.
you wouldn't like.
100% agree.
Okay.
We are in the same track here. Okay, so tell me what you can
Let's
give
see,
me.
board, do I have a motion?
I'm thinking 30 days.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
30
days.
30 days.
30 days. Thank you very much.
And
Let
the
me
per diem?
speak to the inspector,
150.
because after the 30
Right.
days, if you haven't cleaned the property, you're going to start accruing these $150 fine per diem.
Right.
So if you haven't finished cleaning them, you need to request
Okay,
an
we need to-
extension.
Madam
That doesn't mean it's gonna be
Chair,
granted.
it's not just cleaning. He's going to come back and
has
say
to comply
that we
with all the
represented,
violations.
all the violations have to be complied
That's why
within the 30 days.
you need to
And he
speak
had
to the
said-
inspector.
And when he made the motion,
So
I
you'll
think
know
he's-
what needs to be done.
he said $150 day per diem.
Right, 150 per diem after 30 days, but it's to resolve all the violations that the property owner has.
Right. He will meet now with the inspector. Inspector, if you can please talk to the property owner. Make sure you have your phone numbers. Keep in touch. He's the guy that you need to reach out to. Thank you so much and good luck. I'm glad you're doing
you very
better.
much. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Calling page number 14, thank you. This is on the City View agenda, page 14. The address is 3890 Northwest 1st Street, case number CE 2021-018937.
Madam Clerk, that case has been reset. And its companion case at 3886 has also been reset.
Okay, we advise the property owners that we're here?
We have
It's 3888, sorry. If-
3888 Northwest 1st Street and
correct
3890
that.
Northwest 1st Street.
Yeah.
Are both reset for April.
Thank you. Let's go. All right. Calling page number 124. This is now in the code check agenda. There are several cases they're here for. I'll start with page 124. Address 6113 Southwest 8th Street. Case number 000-066-6378. They're here for several cases now.
Here's the attorney. Okay.
Good afternoon. Can you please state your name and address?
Yes, Victor de Urre, 230 Southwest 62nd Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33144.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty as sin.
Okay. Mr. De Urres, let's have the city put on a case, and we'll be back to you if you have anything else further to
Thank
say.
you.
Okay, did he plead guilty?
Yes.
Inspector, state your name and a brief synopsis.
My name is Inspector Torres with the BTR. So I was pretty much transferred these cases over, and when I was doing a little research on the shopping center, I find out that there is several units that they don't have a certificate of use in BTR. They were operating without a certificate of use in BTR. After a little more research, I find out that they have an unsafe structure case on one of the units. Apparently, some walls were removed without permits. So this case pretty much been running since 2018. So I made contact with the property owners and the lawyers, and everybody else is pretty much trying to solve this situation. But first, I have to correct the unsafe structure case. I heard that they came for an unsafe hearing board recently, so that's pretty much.
But my understanding is counselor was recently retained, and so he's been organizing everything. So I think they're just asking for the board to work with them a little in order
2018, Elizabeth.
Well, I don't
6 years ago.
Was this 2018? The one that we're
The case of
on?
unsafe is
I mean,
2018.
Wait, let me just.
Yeah, the case, the building permit is from 2018. So
Okay, what I have, our notice of violation is October 17, 2023.
that's when I opened the case, yes, correct.
Right. Okay, we're not doing the unsafe structures case here. We are doing the
violation
CU
of
BTR on the code enforcement case. Inspector, do you have a recommendation? Because it's confusing when you're saying 2018. You know, then we're going to say 24 hours. So What time period are you recommending?
Since they have so many different, I would probably say they have like 5 units, I recommend at least 90 days so they can pretty much get the permits.
May I have a question to the chair? When was the citation for co-enforcement or co-violations was cited?
It was in November 2023.
Did they have any application then?
Council would have to respond to that.
Are you done with your presentation, or?
Well, we're requesting a guilty 90 days and the maximum fine to start after. It's
The
your
90 days?
We're
I'm asking a
recommending-
question for a reason, sir.
No, but I'm trying to understand what is the question.
Did you apply, did you owner the property apply for certificate of use when they know that they're having a code violation since November?
Okay, now here's the thing.
It's a yes or no question.
No, ma'am, because it's an
Well, he needs
explanation.
to explain
I have to
himself.
explain, so you
So give him a
understand.
chance.
See, the issue is the unsafe structures board, or unsafe structure. Once you have, for example, a shopping strip, shopping center, which like, we have 12 units. You only have one address, 6101, for example, 6101. If there's a violation anywhere on any of the 12 units, then you can't do anything as far as applying for a CU or anything until you cure
Not anymore.
the situation that we have, as I'm sure Inspector Torres will attest to. So we have pending, we have 4 cases going on here today that it's global. It's the same issue for all 4. We're trying to comply, and we have 2 units, the one that was in violation. We have 2 units with a wall. The plans are getting approved.
Right, but that has nothing to do with our case today.
It doesn't, but it has to do with
Right.
applying for the CU.
Correct.
And the BTR,
Do you
because
think you have enough time for 90 days? That's my question to you.
120 would be great.
Okay.
May I ask the question again? The new law that came out last year, if a property have a problem with safe, but you have business who run in the building and the rest of the units, you can apply for a certificate of use if you are not the one in the violations. Are those 5 units in violation or unsafe?
He has the unsafe structure.
But he's testifying that the reason that they're having able to apply is because unsafe structure is stopping them. But unsafe structure from the new regulations from last year, it says that if that property owners or business owners are not the one in violation, they can apply for the certificate of use in 90 days. November happened, we are in March.
They have attempted to apply, but because of the law that was misinterpreted by the Unsafe Structures Department until Renee Diaz stepped in and clarified it, they would not allow these different tenants to apply because they thought that if it was one violation, it covered all 12 units, which is not the case. So now they are in the process of applying, and they're in the process of getting approved.
Do I have a motion?
Chair, I have a question for you, just through the chair. Sir, when is your unsafe structures next board meeting that you're going to?
What is the question?
The unsafe structures, when is the next meeting that you have to go to for them?
Oh, right now we're getting approval of the plans. Right now they're in the city. Once we get the plans approved, just a matter of correcting
That's
the
why he
issue.
wants 120 days.
No,
because-
doesn't mean they went to breach because they never followed the order.
Do I have a motion
This.
for this case?
I'll make a motion, 120.
Chairwoman.
Do I have a second?
Chairwoman.
Do I have a second motion?
Chairwoman, you have to let me speak. It's
You
my
already
as a
spoke.
right.
Do I
it's
have a
November.
second motion?
You don't let me speak.
Well, the motion was 120 days. You spoke enough already.
Second.
All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay.
So can we please take attendance?
What was the per diem?
Yes. 250.
For all 4 units, for all 4
No.
cases?
It's a business.
We have to present each case individually.
That's fine.
Calling
Through
for,
the chair, may I ask a question to our board attorney? Am I allowed to ask my questions?
So you asked 100 questions, the same thing over and over again. We got it. We need to move forward. We have a lot of cases in front of us. He's asking for 120 days. It's very simple. He already clarified.
Mr. Attorney, can you please answer me? Since the attorney, you are the attorney.
Can you please show me how to turn her speaker off when I decide, or anybody's speaker off?
Guys.
I mean,
Guys.
this is ridiculous.
First of all, and I think this is falling on deaf ears. All the boards, even the city commission, follows the Robert's Rules of Order. So the bickering back and forth is not professional at all, and it's not to give anybody a platform.
I agree, but
it's not to give anybody a platform. It's simply across the board. The bickering, okay?
We need to.
There was a motion, there's discussion, and that's it. Now, I will also caution the board against giving any sort of legal advice or making any kind of legal conclusions or interpretations of city codes. You have Assistant City Attorney Hernandez there who can talk about the city law, but don't advise anybody up here about the law. It's just not good posture for this board. So there was a motion.
There was a second.
There was a second. There should be discussion. And then a vote, and if Ms. Bentacourt retains her no, then there's a roll call, and we move forward. But let's keep some decorum.
Thank you. Can we please have roll call?
I'll do roll call. Calling Member Keon Williams.
Yes.
Calling Vice Chair John Quinnell.
Yes.
Calling Chair Yvonne
Yes.
Yvonne Bayona.
Yes.
Thank you. And calling Member Brenda Betancourt.
No.
Okay, it passes 3-1.
Thank you. Next case, you have 120 days.
Calling page 127, address 6161 Southwest 8th Street, case number 000-66374, page 127.
Can you please state your name and address?
Victor De Jure, 230 Southwest 62nd Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33144.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Thank you.
Okay, and this was on page 127, correct, Ms.
Yes.
Fincher?
Yes.
Thank you. Inspector, state your name and official position, and give a brief synopsis to the board. And if this is the unit that was the problem with doing illegal drywall removal, let the board know.
Okay, Inspector Torres with the BTR. This is one of the units that they currently don't have a CU. This one doesn't have a problem with the BTR. However, the CU, since it was so many years, he has to reapply it again, and he's in the process, same way. And I cite him also for the sign that it was erected without a permit. So council already know they're working on it to legalize that sign. Same recommendation, if possible, since they have to do the unsafe 120 days, that would be great.
Mr. Attorney, I just letting you know I'm excusing myself from the meeting. I'm sorry and apologize for the rest of the people that's here.
Thank you.
Okay, we have lost quorum.
Lost quorum.
That means that we cannot hear any more cases. We cannot hear any mitigations, and we cannot hear any extensions of time. We need 4 board members to be present in order to conduct the business of the board. So the cases will be reset. You will receive notice through hearing boards.
I apologize for having you coming here today, and unfortunately, we do not have quorum any longer. I suggest you speak to Maloney to have your cases reset for another.
And also speak to your inspectors. They're the ones to be heard that will do it. Mr. DeJure, thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Just speak to your inspector, and maybe what he'll do is not set it for 120 days.
And let me just say that Mr. Inspector Torres has been very helpful and very professional
Thank you,
in
sir.
this process. Thank you.
Apparently, a female was shot in the head. While I'm walking, I noticed